We first learned about Joseph Rosenfeld in an article we read in journalism class. He was an image consultant to celebrities and tech moguls of Silicon Valley. As we read more about him, we realized this wasn't just another successful businessman. Joseph Rosenfeld was a man who had overcome all types of obstacles and abuse to reach the success he has today. Obstacles that many of our students have to deal with on a daily basis. This was when we realized he'd be a great role model for students here at Amador Valley. So we asked him if he'd sit down and talk to us and give us a little insight as to how he made it through those difficult teenage years and how he achieved all his success. And to our surprise, he agreed. Thank you, Mr. Rosenfeld. Obviously, this documentary is for high school students, so I think we need to start off with the big question of, what do you do? What is a personal brand and style strategist?
A lot of people understand what a personal stylist does. We play with clothes, and we play with people, and we put clothes on people. I want to help my clients to promote their brand as a way of conveying their authenticity, telling the truth, showing up as the truth. If you want people to really get a sense of the very best sense of you, you have to make sure that the way that you look and the way that you sound matches to the words that you have to say. And when you do, you are conveying your true best sense of self. And that is what I'm coaching my clients to do all the time.
At 48, Rosenfeld recognizes that his journey wasn't easy. He grew up in the suburbs of Chicago and attended Stevenson High School in Lincolnshire, Illinois. As a Jewish son of middle-class parents, he worked to overcome the insecurities caused by being bullied, tormented, and abused, though inside he suffered. Today, things have changed. He now spends his time traveling all over the globe, shopping in the most luxurious stores, meeting exciting people, and traveling to exotic locations around the world, trying to find everything his clients need. He splits his time working in San Jose and New York, but his glamorous life wasn't always so. As we got to know Joseph more, we realized that one of the most relatable parts of his life were the struggles he endured in high school. We saw so many similarities between what he went through and our own experiences. So we asked him how he got through it.
I was a 15-and-a-half-year-old teenage boy with a lot of problems. And I found a book that was called the Official Preppy Handbook. And it was like the Bible for me. The big epiphany was, I might not ever be 6 foot tall, and believe me, I'm not, because I'm 5'3". But I figured that if I could be stylish, I could then become attractive, because style, I felt as a 15-year-old, was something that emanated from deeper within. And if people could see the truth about me, which goes back to this idea of branding, that then people would actually see how beautiful I was from within.
Currently, Joseph spends his days writing his blog and working for his clients, but it wasn't always this easy for him. In many of your blog posts, you write about the emotionally crippling bullying you were subjected to when you were young. You describe yourself in one of your blog posts as a gay Jewish man who's taken lifetimes worth of physical, verbal, psychological, and emotional assault. How did you go through that and coming out where you are so successful today? How did you endure that?
It's very hard. Lots of time, I spent alone. I was beaten up and bullied every single day. I was tripped, punched, chosen last or chosen not at all on sports teams and gym class. And people called me a faggot. Way before I was really clear about my own sexual orientation, by the way. And people told me that I was ugly. And I think that what hurt me the most was being told that I was ugly, because I was told that I was ugly every single day in between classes, during pass time, and it hurt me more than anything. And I just wanted that to stop. I was checked out. I didn't want to live. I had a really interesting thought that came over me in the fall. There's a lot of damage that happens that it can take a lifetime to actually overcome, but that's why we have lives to live. I realized that from birth, my parents, who I love and will always love and will always admire and respect. I think that they did not know how to take care of me. And my job was to parent them in a way. My job was to make their lives easier. Going backwards from this revelation, it really informs me how I survived, but also why my life may have been more difficult than it needed to be. Because I didn't feel like I could go to anybody, because I didn't feel like I could trust anybody, because I didn't want to be a burden on anybody, I didn't say anything to anybody. You know, my advice now would be, if you really feel alone, take a risk. Tell somebody. Tell somebody. And if you're watching this, I want you to know that you're not alone, that probably someone that you might be able to tell will have empathy for you, will hold you, will emotionally hold space for you, because chances are, if they're being honest, it's probably happened to them too. And if it hasn't happened to them, they know someone else that it's happened to. And if it's your parent that you go to, if they're not the abuser themselves, they are certainly going to want you to be well. Nobody wants to go through life where they feel like they don't have a lifeline. I think you can't cut yourself off from the world. It's really important to speak up. It's really important to speak your truth, even if you have to go and tell a friend. It's really important to be able to find someone that you can actually trust, because after going through abusive situations like that, you lose your faith in people. You can lose your faith in humanity. You can lose your faith in the people who are the closest to you, especially if maybe those are people who were your abusers. When I was sexually attacked, it was by a babysitter, and it made me absolutely lack trust and faith in everybody. I just really kept to myself. I felt like I had to take care of myself. But getting help is also part of how you take care of yourself these days. We are not supposed to be doing these things by ourselves, because we will suffer. I suffered a lot. And as successful as I may be today, and I won't have regret over the way I've conducted my life, I do wonder where else I would be at this point in my life if I didn't have to suffer the way I did.
Would you describe yourself as happy?
Yeah, very happy now.
You know, what gives you that happiness?
It's really important when you come out of a very bad situation that you see yourself as a survivor. You have to find a way to thrive in your life. Finding what I really wanted to do and going for it and being unapologetic about it. The fact that I dropped out of college, the fact that I am mostly self-taught. That sense of I have to take care of myself has had its positive benefits. I love that I wake up in the morning and I have exciting things to do. I love working in my business with clients. I love working on my businesses. That drives me every single day. I sort of have to wake up and pinch myself that this is my life. I don't have pain and suffering anymore. I've been able to let all of that go, and I dare myself to fail. I try new things and stay with the things I love and try to deepen my passions and interests for those things, and now I'm very happy.
One of the hardest parts about learning about Joseph and what he does is the fact that he purposely chooses to remain in the background, keeping all of his famous and powerful clients confidential. We went to speak to some of his clients to help us better understand what he does for them.
So I met Joseph, 20 years into my career. I decided that it was time to, look from the inside out, and I really wanted to show up. And how you show up is being the very best that you can be. It helps you navigate in the world in terms of how you present yourself, and it really gives you power when you feel good and confident about yourself. What Joseph does is he takes you through in asking you the questions, what's your goals, what's your intentions. Joseph makes it fun. He's fantastic. Not only does he have intuition about someone, he can really identify areas in which you can align with your personal goals, your work goals. Joseph is very, very passionate about what he does. This was his calling in life.
Sometimes, Joseph's clients even hire him to help their kids.
I met Joseph when my son was a sophomore in high school, and he was diagnosed with anxiety. And he came home and he said, "Mom, I want to be reinvented." And I was like, "Ugh, Hunter, that only happens in the movies." But, being a parent and wanting to help your kid, I looked around and I found Joseph. And I called him and I explained he was struggling with social anxiety. And Joseph said, "Well, you know what? I really struggled in high school. And I wish I had a me when I was in high school, and I'd like to help your son."
High school is all about fitting in, because what do we all want? To be accepted.
Yeah.
And I think that if you really want to be accepted, you have to be able to show up as you really are. I think that everyone deserves an opportunity to shine. But one of the ways that you do is to see yourself as the individual that you are, and promote the best things about you through the way you show up, how you look, how you communicate, how you relate with people, how you become known for your thoughts. And I think that if people really gave themselves a chance to see themselves as individuals, I think we would understand one another. I think we would identify with what our differences are. But if we really took that chance to see ourselves and to see each other as individuals, we would have a beautiful world. And you can have that right at your own school.
We'd like to thank Joseph Rosenfeld for all his time and allowing us to intrude on his life and business for this project at Amador Valley. We need to think about Joseph's message. You're never alone. If you need help, ask for it. There will always be help out there, and you need to know it will get better. And remember what we can all learn from Joseph. You never know what your future holds.
Personally, if she's not picking up like litter on the side of the road, like, one of the rich ladies, she could also be like directing traffic in front of the school. This is like Grandma's couch. She never got out of Cookie Monster Land. Exactly, yeah.
We'd like to thank Joseph Rosenfeld for all his time. Too loud? We'd like to thank Joseph Rosenfeld for all his time. I messed up, sorry.
Follow him.
Well, man moves fast. There will always be help out there. And you need to know it will get better. Blah!
Your life, how do you get...
And remember what we can all learn from Joseph. I don't like the way I'm saying it, sorry. Let me try again. And remember... We'd like to thank Joseph Rosenfeld for... What? You never know what your future holds. Nishay, 2018.